Goeiedag, good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And from the YouTube channel that is often claimed to be sprouting fake news by certain idiots around the place, we won't go into details because I think you know what I'm talking about. Let me tell you, I got an email today from a fellow which is worth reciting. I'll call him L, just to keep his anonymity. And he says, "Thank you for the fascinating interview you had with Big Daddy Liberty recently. Thank you for all the interesting people and perspectives you bring on. Even though the subject of South Africa is so tragic, it is also extremely fascinating, and one learns so much about the world by studying the things regarding South Africa. The work you do is very valuable, and many greatly value the effort you put in." Well, thank you. An important topic that was touched on during your interview with Big Daddy is the pain of the white man, or the white South African. It has never been properly addressed. One can never speak about white pain without the by now socially expected inevitable first acknowledge of the far worse suffering of the blacks. However, the matter of the pain of black people has been amply addressed, whereas the very real pain of whites who has actually been scoffed at, not only within the country, but even outside. I think an important part of the healing of our people and the building of a new, meaningful future will be to acknowledge the loss and pain of the whites due to what the ANC did and how history played out. I will list as a white middle-class Jan Alleman some damage I have experienced at their sly communist hand. 1. Being deceived, leading to difficulty to trust any leader. I always wonder, what is the agenda? I battle to trust my own Afrikaner people, even. 2. Diaspora. Many of us have been forced to emigrate. 3. Damage to our social fabric due to families torn apart by emigration and moving around internally. Skype grandparents having to move a lot inside the country in order to find employment, which is harmful to the children because their roots keep getting torn up. Beloved hometowns becoming derelict and deserted before your eyes and unable to do anything about it. 4. The huge psychological damage of farm murders on Afrikaners as a group. 5. The 24/7, which means around-the-clock, stress of the crime and violence in South African society. 6. The psychological stress of competent white men being retrenched from jobs, which has an incredibly detrimental effect on marriages, families, and the men themselves. 7. The incredible stress on white women and mothers, who often end up the main breadwinners because of the social score system. And he goes on to say, etc., etc. Well, he doesn't even touch black economic empowerment, does he? Which is a disgusting racial employment policy. But he does say, and then the far worse things that have happened to others, like people who are maimed by bombs, lost family members in attacks, hand grenade attacks on farm roads, etc., parents and grandparents who lost sons on the borders. These things will have to be acknowledged too, just as it was done for black people's suffering. I think all the minorities must sit with their unacknowledged pain too, unacknowledged and unseen. All the people of South Africa's suffering must be acknowledged, and the pain of the poor must not be seen as being worse and more terrible than that of middle class or rich, because pain is pain, no matter who you are. Pain is not measured solely by economic indicators in real life, and in fact it is often the wealthier who suffer the greatest loss economically, when communists wreak their destruction and therefore suffer the greatest economic pain and hardship. While the poor do have incredible economic hardship as part of everyday life, it is usually not coupled with loss, since the poverty is generational. The idea that the highest and most pressing form of suffering is economic suffering is Marxist and erroneous, since suffering comes in many forms and knows no class. We need to get rid of the toxic communism we all imbibed because of propaganda, and the people must see the folly of division politics. If the people stop falling for it, the politicians will stop using it, and even the media will eventually drop it if it loses its grip on everyone. The people need to change, and waiting for politicians and media to sing a different tune is foolish. The change must come from the ordinary black, white, coloured, Khoi, Karana, Indian, and any other minority person who says, "Enough already." I ask that if you deem it appropriate, my letter be read to your audience, as even if the world at large does not even acknowledge the suffering of the white South African, we must do it for ourselves, because breaking free from the ANC will for many require an acknowledgement that we have been wronged first. Many whites keep seeing only black pain due to relentless media propaganda, and thereby remain blind to the pain of their fellow whites, and even their own pain, keeping them trapped in the rainbow delusion and unable to move forward in a meaningful way. Well, I think that's got a very clear message, and thank you so much, Elle. That's a great insight. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video, please share this video, and above all, please stay safe.